Forget everything you think you know about volcanoes. Some have erupted with more force than a nuclear bomb. One is so hot it can melt steel in seconds. Another has been burning non-stop for over 1,500 years without ever fully stopping. Let's go through the most extreme volcano records ever documented. The biggest eruption. Imagine an explosion so massive it was heard 3,000 miles away and changed the planet's temperature for an entire year. On August 27, 1883, Krakatoa in Indonesia produced the loudest sound ever recorded in modern history. The blast ruptured eardrums of sailors 40 miles away and was clearly heard as far as Australia and the island of Rodrigues near Africa. It ejected roughly 6 cubic miles of rock and ash into the sky, triggering tsunamis over 100 feet tall that killed more than 36,000 people along nearby coastlines. The ash cloud circled the entire globe within days, turning sunsets blood red as far away as London and dropping global temperatures by more than 1 degree Fahrenheit the following year. To sum it up, Krakatoa didn't just destroy an island. It briefly changed the climate of the entire planet and made sure the whole world heard it happen. The deadliest. When people think of deadly natural disasters, volcanoes rarely top the list, but one eruption still holds a record nothing else has matched. In 1815, Mount Tambora in Indonesia produced the most powerful eruption in recorded human history, ejecting so much ash and sulfur into the atmosphere that it blocked out sunlight across the globe. An estimated 71,000 people died directly from the eruption and the resulting famine and disease across the region. But the real disaster came the following year, when the ash cloud caused global temperatures to crash, triggering what historians now call the year without a summer. Crops failed across Europe and North America, snow fell in June in New England, and food shortages sparked riots on multiple continents. In the end, a single mountain in Indonesia managed to starve people on the other side of the planet who had never even heard its name. The tallest. Most people assume the tallest volcano must be somewhere obvious, but this one is hiding almost entirely underwater. Mauna Loa in Hawaii rises nearly 30,000 feet from its base on the ocean floor to its summit, making it taller from base to peak than Mount Everest, even though only about 13,600 feet of it actually sits above sea level. It's also one of the most active volcanoes on the planet, having erupted more than 30 times since 1843, most recently in 2022, when lava flows came within a few miles of the main highway on the Big Island. Its sheer mass is so enormous that geologists believe its weight is actually pushing down and deforming the ocean floor beneath it. In other words, you could stack the world's most famous mountain on top of itself and still not reach the true summit of this one, the hottest. Everyone assumes all lava looks and behaves the same, but one type burns hotter than anything else on Earth. Ol Duino Lengai in Tanzania is the only volcano on the planet that erupts nitrocarbonated lava, a strange black lava that's actually cooler to the touch than typical volcanic rock, flowing at temperatures around 950 degrees Fahrenheit instead of the usual 2,000. But for raw destructive heat, nothing beats the lava lakes of Nyiragongo in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which can reach temperatures of nearly 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit and flow at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour down its steep slopes, far faster than a person can run. In 2002, that lava lake drained in minutes and swept through the nearby city of Goma, destroying thousands of homes before residents had any real chance to escape. At that temperature and speed, lava doesn't give you time to think, only time to run. And look, most of you still haven't hit subscribe, and that's completely fine, but if you're finding this interesting, tapping that button takes 2 seconds and genuinely helps this channel keep making videos like this. Also, stick around, because at the very end I'm asking one question that only the people who watch the whole thing will actually be able to answer. Alright, let's keep going. The most explosive. Some eruptions don't just destroy a mountain, they erase it from the map entirely. In 1991, Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines produced the second largest volcanic eruption of the 20th century, blasting an ash column over 22 miles into the stratosphere in a matter of hours. It released so much sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere that global temperatures dropped by about 1 degree Fahrenheit for the next 2 years, a measurable cooling effect scientists still study today. More than 800 people died, most from roof collapses caused by ash mixed with typhoon rainfall the same week. What makes this eruption remarkable is that scientists actually predicted it days in advance, evacuating over 60,000 people and saving thousands of lives. One of the few times in history humanity saw a monster like this coming and got out of the way in time. The longest continuously erupting. Most eruptions last days or weeks. This one has been going since before most modern countries even existed. Mount Yasur in Vanuatu has been erupting continuously for over 800 years, with small explosions occurring every few minutes around the clock, without ever fully stopping. It's considered one of the most accessible active volcanoes on Earth, with tourists able to stand at the crater rim and watch molten rock get hurled into the air in real time. Even more extreme, Mount Erebus in Antarctica has maintained an active lava lake inside its crater for decades, one of the only long-term lava lakes on the entire planet, sitting permanently in a landscape of ice and snow. While a normal volcano might make headlines for one eruption, these two have simply never bothered to stop at all. The most catastrophic supervolcano. There's a category of eruption so massive that scientists needed to invent a whole new word for it. A supereruption ejects more than 240 cubic miles of material at once, thousands of times larger than a typical volcanic eruption. The Yellowstone supervolcano in the United States last erupted at that scale roughly 640,000 years ago, an event that would have buried much of North America in ash and altered the entire planet's climate for years afterward. Beneath the park today sits a magma chamber large enough to fill the Grand Canyon nearly 14 times over, still monitored constantly by scientists watching for any sign of change. It hasn't erupted at that scale in human history, and researchers stress it's not considered overdue. But if it ever did, it would be unlike anything any civilization has ever documented. It's the kind of danger that doesn't announce itself with smoke. It just sits quietly under a national park full of tourists taking pictures of geysers. The fastest destruction. To close it out, the most mind-blowing record of all. The fastest a volcano has ever destroyed everything in its path. On May 18, 1980, Mount St. Helens in Washington state erupted sideways instead of straight up, unleashing a lateral blast that flattened over 230 square miles of forest in under 3 minutes. The blast wave traveled at speeds exceeding 300 miles per hour, snapping trees over 100 feet tall like matchsticks, and stripping bark clean off anything left standing. It moved faster than the fastest recorded winds on the surface of the Earth, faster than anyone could have possibly outrun. To this day, photographs of the aftermath show a landscape that looks less like a forest and more like the surface of the moon. At the top of the ranking, here's the reminder. A mountain can sit quietly for over a century and still move faster than anything alive the moment it finally decides to. Okay, question time. Out of every record in this video, which one was the only case where scientists actually predicted the disaster in advance, and it still happened almost exactly as forecast? Comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more. See you in the next eruption.